Craig Crawford here, your retired journalist working for nothing but the truth and Social Security checks. And I'm off today. Well, I'm at the primary doctor celebrating my new A1C down to 5.7. We'd gotten up to 7.2 a year ago. Those miracle drugs helped. And I lost 35 pounds. So we got a highlight reel here of our recent day digital diner. Every day, 11 a.m. to noon Eastern time, we're right here chitting and chatting. And then on trailmix.cc, right down here in the banner, you'll see all that. But I'm going to play you some highlights from our recent digital diners where we have fun and argue a little bit, talk back to the commenters, and generally we make sense. We're going somewhere. Well, we just don't always know which way we're facing.
Equality is in the air we breathe. There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free. Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I'm the poor white, fooled and pushed apart.
He's hiring a massive paramilitary.
It's officially February 14th, and the Department of Homeland Security just went dark.
Your theatrics are ridiculous.
Congress went on vacation while millions of pages of Epstein files are leaking.
I'm going to answer the question when I'm good and ready.
Very concerned. I have a number of concerns.
Drop into chat and tell me what you think. Let's go live. I need a haircut. We're live at 11.
Hit the road tonight, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road tonight, and don't you come back no more. We're burning good people while the families scream. Terror takes over and homicide dreams. Making clinics and schools at home. Turning our.
What's your take on Pam Bondi?
I don't care for her. We for a long time we thought that John Mitchell was probably the worst AG the country had ever had. I think Pam's giving him a run for his money.
Can't like him. I think I want to be a Buddhist. I'm these Buddhists in town the last couple of days. I've just gotten so interested in them and what they had to say that. How do you sign up?
We're going to come back tomorrow and Craig's going to be wrapped in a towel with his head shaved.
The first rule they teach you, speaking of getting taught in law school, I have to, full disclosure, and I'm horribly embarrassed to say, Pam Bondi and I went to the same law school. Apparently, we had different constitutional law and criminal law professors because the professors I remember wouldn't have taught anybody to do the things she's done.
As the monks walked for peace across America, an unofficial mascot, Aloka, has become a fan favorite along the route, and his journey is just as inspiring.
So we found him in India when we walked 112 days in India. We found him and he followed us the whole time. He's a hero, true hero in India.
We're just surrounded by a lot of negative news and a lot of hurt that's going on. And I think this gives us an opportunity to focus on something positive. Wow. So between the monks and the Olympics, I think we're in good shape.
We walk not to bring any attention to us, but we just hope that we raise awareness of peace to all the people who will meet along the road.
The problem is you have it backwards, sir. People are simply making valid observations about your tactics, which are un-American and outright fascist. So I have a simple suggestion. If you don't want to be called a fascist regime or secret police, then stop acting like one. But
the president posting about the Obamas like a Klansman at 1 a.m.
I like that line, like a Klansman at 1 a.m. Yeah.
Well, it's true. I hate saying it, but it's a pattern.
Trump's lost the country. He's lost He's lost young people. He's lost Hispanics. He's lost the independents. My God, the independent vote is gone. All he's got are the MAGAs, and not even all of them. Here is a C-SPAN caller who says he was a Trump voter, and this meme broke him.
Voted for the president, supported him, but I really want to apologize. I mean, I'm looking at this awful picture of the Obamas. What an embarrassment to our country.
Do you now cower before men who possess not a drop of royal blood, but all of a tyrant's appetite? I see a people drunk on comfort. Has the blood of 1776 run so thin, I did not risk the quartering block to found a nation of spectators. If this republic is to be anything more than a memory, you must cease asking for permission to be free.
The Speaker of the House saying, fuck the president? This is even out there for the times we've been in lately. This is pretty out there.
Well, I have been saying that and calling him a racist to all of my Republican friends long before the escalator. It's about time they caught up.
They never did actually find the news, which I think is so strange. Because one of the things that I also have learned, I always learn something new when I go back into this story, is they removed the body before investigators ever got there. I mean, I knew
that's weird to me too.
I didn't know they actually removed his body before any investigators got there.
See, and that's fishy. That's fishy.
His brothers always said, why would you commit suicide in that circumstance? Here's the actual excerpt from the document that was just released 2 days ago, and it says in here in this FBI document, FBI met with Epstein's attorneys, who in very general terms discussed the possibility of a resolution and the possibility of defendant's cooperation. See, that goes even further than his brother had said. The Jeffrey Epstein suicide, the document dumps this week just blew the official narrative wide open.
Epstein's body was removed before investigators arrived.
We have found a major conflict in the files. Mysterious flash of orange moving toward Epstein's cell as a possible inmate. We've learned in these files he was in the middle of negotiating release from prison pending his trial. More on this in our chat room. You're not going to impeach the man. You're not going to impeach him. It's impossible. What we did twice, let's not forget, I always like to say this, is twice a majority of Congress wanted Donald Trump out of office. He didn't get the requisite vote in the Senate. I understand that. But he got it. It was a majority of the House and the Senate wanted to throw Donald Trump out of office. Twice. Boy, they're really rolling in here. Release the Trump files.
Yes. We're not calling them the Epstein files anymore.
Oh, we're calling them the Trump files. I like that.
Yeah, because he's in the files 38,000 times.
Beating these lunatics was incredible, right? What a great feeling.
They need to start understanding that Jesus was about uniting people, not dividing them.
Said we're going to bring back Christmas because the word Christmas was almost gone.
And I honestly don't believe Jesus gets involved in politics. It's like Bobby Knight said, he's about an individual heart.
Beating these lunatics was incredible, right? What a great feeling.
Jesus was about uniting people.
Of who's where. Most of them have capacities of about 1,500 people. The one here in Tacoma that handles Oregon and Washington detainees right now is sitting at 1,350. And there have been numerous complaints all across them for food and health violations. And this recent flare-up of measles.
It's kind of like the Scooby-Doo meme where, they pull the mask off the bad guy. Well, the mask is being pulled off, and Make America Great Again isn't really about America or the American people. It's not about the American people.
Pete Sessions' office, how can I help you?
Hi, we're calling to ask the congressman to vote to defund ICE.
We are voting in favor of funding ICE.
Is he in favor of all these rights that are being violated by ICE agents?
Such as what, sir?
Oh, like killing them, shooting them and killing them, that kind of thing?
No, of course he's not in favor of people's lives being taken.
Why do they have to wear masks?
He is not in favor of that either.
But he's opposed to masks, which is a good thing.
I thought that was very interesting because a lot of Republicans understand, a whole lot of them understand that he's killing them for the midterms, just like he did in Trump's first midterm in 2017. Kids in cages. Democrats netted 41 House seats in 2017 because of Stephen Miller's kids in cages. And Republicans in Congress now remember that. And they're seeing that and even more now. And they want to rein him in and get this under control before they get wasted. You see, you hear him say, call 911 right now. As Joe Scarborough said this morning, she didn't call Antifa. She was calling the police to protect her from the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a citizen. She was not obstructing. She was an observer, as a lot of people have been doing, and they're great Americans and patriots, if you ask me.
I would just say that it's a very poorly drafted indictment. They offer some gratuitous information, like the thing about the child thinking the parents might die. That was inappropriate for an indictment.
It said that young children were fearing they were about to die.
It's inappropriate. It's inflammatory language that has no business being in an indictment. It's just a lot of speculation and inflammatory language.
No, it's estimated there was 100,000 people yesterday, up from about 50,000 from the week before. And I will tell you, I think yesterday's protest was more of a mix of left and right people who believe in the Second Amendment and don't believe that he should have been killed, that he could bear arms.
About the local prosecutors?
They did not believe there was sufficient evidence for it. And based on what I read about the facts, there's not. Several magistrates had refused to sign the warrant for the arrest, and so they are saying that they will not participate in it. And also the chief judge. That's highly unusual.
The First Amendment exists to protect journalists like Don, and I'll read the rest of the statement. Whose role is to shine light on the truth and hold those in power accountable. There's no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work.
The idea that a journalist in America, for simply covering a story, isn't that what the First Amendment is there for?
That's right.
Can be hauled into custody.
I was talking to him one time and I said, well, what can Democrats do to win back rural areas? And he said 2 words, show up.
I mean, really. And see, what our problem is here throughout rural America is Republicans don't do anything for us because they don't think they have to get reelected. Democrats don't come out here because they don't think they can win.
You got to realize that these working class rural voters in America, they're the most tapped out. I mean, they got the smallest wages and the least amount of cash in their pocket. Probably of anybody in the country.
Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse came and killed 2 people with his gun, and he's a hero.
Well, I think when you watch the video, the first thing they do is spray the guy a full face full of that toxic crap that they use. And after that, he didn't even know what was going on. First thing he did was throw his hands up in the universal sign of surrender.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing. Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
The Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
And a month ago, he said to release the Epstein files. We have nothing to hide. Nothing to hide. They call it Operation Catch of the Day, and they're targeting a population of Somali and African communities in Lewiston, Maine. The whole city's only 38,000 people, and they've already got 200 feds on the ground there, and they've got the Maine governor already griping. It's the same formula that they do everywhere else. They stiff arm the local police.
ICE has been weaponized to do bad things.
Iceman knocks on my door, and not sure what he's there for. Iceman, a resident down the block in the fight of innocence. Iceman knocks me to the ground. He says I should have watched my mouth. Freedom of speech is expensive now.
Wait until you see this video.
MAGA's reaction to the ICE shooting in Minneapolis made something very clear to me. They see like 65% of this country as subhuman.
This guy nails exactly what it is.
We are watching them suspend reality with their own eyes. This is what dehumanization looks like in real time. It's turning off their empathy because the victim belonged to the wrong side. This is happening because it's the Confederacy. We are still fighting that war from the 1860s.
Could be getting back to the Confederacy.
We're being attacked by our own people, by our own federal government, by masked men without ID that are taking people away. They're not pedophiles. They're not rapists. They're not criminals. They're taking people from schools. They're taking high school kids. I'm an American and I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of what's going on.
You're watching the diplomatic equivalent of a divorce decree. That's New Delhi. That's European leadership. They're right now signing trade deals that used to belong to us. They're pivoting their entire economic future toward India and away from the United States. It's kind of quiet, a live shot right now from London, but in a few hours they'll be marching. They're marching for the 37-year-old ICU nurse gunned down in an American city.
Ask Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end. These people as law enforcement. They are not law enforcement. Powerful people in the federal government spinning stories and putting up pictures and unrelated people who we don't know anything about and a picture of a firearm to try and spin a narrative. I asked Americans, this will end when enough Americans say this will end, and quit referring to these people as law enforcement.
So I gotta say, you know, I've covered politics for about 35 years, and you know, and I watch the public very carefully whether I agree with it or not. And I'm telling you, we're at a tipping point. The American, you know, I don't think this is a midterm winner for you at all. I mean, that's where your public is right now on this issue, and I think Republicans got themselves a problem, and they know it.
It bothers me that 60-some years ago I was doing the protesting and now we're doing it all over again.
I mean,
maybe we have to do this once every 60 years to keep the government in line.
Well, didn't Jefferson say something along those lines that we need a revolution periodically? You need a new one now and then? That's a lot of hair on a cow.
What I think about when I go listening to music is I think, what would I want to listen to with a hangover?
Maybe he should be reminded that men who get mumps in adulthood.
I don't know where you're going, but I kind of see it.
George Orwell is a pen name. Hard to imagine what's unfolding in front of our eyes.
We're detaining these babies, and when they have a medical issue, we're not treating them.
That's the secret bunker underneath Area 51. That's where they keep the daytime aliens.
I don't know if I've ever seen a cow that hairy.
Isn't that where they have, like, premium Slurpees there?
That's the secret bunker underneath Area 51. That's where they keep the daytime aliens.
Is that the new bingo game downstairs? I hope it's not too loud.
Sounds like another mandatory Zoom meeting that absolutely could have just been an email.
That's exactly how many chicken nuggets I can eat.
When does it drop on Netflix?
After nearly 30 years of public service, including in international settings, I have seen how the rule of law can erode. My fear is that we have seen the rule of law function in our country for so long that many of us have come to take it for granted.
That's a lot of hair on a cow. I don't know if I've ever seen a cow that hairy. So we're landing in the same place we took off. Trump just negotiated a deal to build bases in Greenland, which is funny because we've had that right since the Truman administration. It's the art of the deal, lighting a fire just so you can sell everyone a fire extinguisher. But hey, don't call it a total loss. While we were all arguing about Riva State in the Arctic, we completely stopped talking about the Epstein files.
When teachers are calling out because they don't feel comfortable being at school, or kids aren't showing up for school because their parents are too afraid they're going to get taken from school. Kids have been taken from bus stops and parents not notified. And my thing is for the kids, because like I said, they can't process this. But mentally and emotionally, children cannot process it. And it's very traumatizing. We're detaining these babies, and when they have a medical issue, we're not treating them. But a father was getting his son off the bus, his 4-year-old son from preschool, and ICE took both of them.
4-year-old son.
We just know that they were taken, but we have people that have gone missing. They're missing.
This makes the United States look crazy. Our president look off his rocker. We are demanding a major change, a territorial change to make Greenlanders become Americans without offering any explanation. This is really a moment when Congress can stop him.
If one of us wrote a letter to all the heads of Europe saying, I'm going to start a world war if you don't give me one of your countries, would people think you're a little off?
Now, one of the answers, it seems to me, is a guaranteed annual income, a guaranteed minimum income.
Dr. Martin Luther King believed in leveling the playing field. He wanted to see poverty eradicated.
We must create full employment, or we must create income.
Dr. King was championing a guaranteed income at the time of his assassination.
People must be made consumers by one method or the other.
I believe the judge is going to help us get these files.
This matters because if the judge goes along with these congressmen, and he sort of hinted that he might, he's an Obama-appointed judge, he would actually be taking control of release of the Epstein files away from Donald Trump. A Democrat who's not afraid to talk about Jesus.
What would Jesus do about a tax system that benefits the rich over the poor? What would Jesus do about a healthcare system that forces the sick to start GoFundMe pages to afford life-saving surgery? What would Jesus do about an education system that ties a child's school funding to their community's property wealth?
I have not seen a Democrat who talks about Jesus since Jimmy Carter. The White House is trying to provoke people into a violent confrontation as justification to declare martial law so he could absolutely. That is not crazy talk. I mean, and I agree with it. Everybody was so careful. Everybody knew. Don't take the bait. Keep it very peaceful. And, we sang songs and we did some chanting and, they didn't confront us. So it didn't really get put to the test.
Of course, they didn't call it fascism. They painted it red, white, and blue and called it Americanism. And here are the funds to see it through. Fantastic amounts subscribed by a few private individuals to whom money didn't mean anything anymore, but who wanted political power. Knew they could never get it by democratic means.
Today, the judge responded. He has ordered the Department of Justice to explain whether they should appoint a special master and why they're not releasing all of the documents. Thomas Massie and I will be responding to the Department of Justice's argument. This is a huge step forward. Now, an Obama-appointed judge may order the release of the files that we all want to see.
I tried to imagine what would Thomas Paine say if he had a TikTok account today.
Do you now cower before men who possess not a drop of royal blood, but all of a tyrant's appetite, authority, once unmoored from the public will, is a wolf in any season?
It's making a difference with people. Actually turn the public against ICE. I mean, look at these numbers. See, a plurality now of Americans in this YouGov poll, big sample too, is almost 2,000. 46% saying that they want to abolish ICE. And that's something like a 25 percentage point increase since this all started.
To all ICE officers, you have federal immunity in the conduct of your duties.
Mr. Miller makes that bad sound like a magic shield to go nuts. But there's a catch, even he can't fix. That protection covers you for doing the right job, not for losing your head while you're at it. You hurt someone who didn't need hurting, and you're no federal agent anymore. You're just a dude in a whole lot of trouble. And Mr. Miller, he won't be the one paying your lawyer.
He said, it seems Trump is just doing everything he can illegally. So I wonder if he either thinks he will sooner or later go to jail. So he'll do as much as he can illegally as he can for the Republican Party. It makes sense to me because he really just doesn't care and thinks he will pardon himself or the next president will.
That gets a drum roll.
One of the real problems is now ICE are villains. And now people are looking at them like murderous military people that are on the streets of our city, and they're masked up, which is also a problem, right? Because if you get arrested by a cop, you're allowed to ask the cop, what is your name and badge number? And you could film that cop. If you get arrested by an ICE agent, you have no such right. They're wearing a mask. They don't have to tell you shit. That's a problem.
Here they are. They're literally dragging her out of the car.
They cut her seatbelt off with a knife.
Look at that. I mean, come on, people. I don't care what she's done or whatever. I mean, she wasn't doing anything illegal in front of them. I mean, this is crazy. We've just lost our minds.
It was very disturbing on Sunday when I was telling my son, because with him on the spectrum, I have to kind of explain things to him a little bit. And I said, we're going to go to the airport, take grandma and grandpa to the airport. And he said, and he overheard, I should say, on the news, them talking about the Whipple building, which is near Fort Snelling, and the airport, blah, 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 blah. I didn't think he even heard it, but he said, are we going to run into ICE? Are they going to take us?
Oh, wow.
He is 9 years old.
9 years old. Wow. You know, and that's happening, particularly where the stories are so imminent, you know, and prevalent.
But he said, are we going to run into ICE? Are they going to take us?
Let's back up, because we got a lot of people in comments saying she hit him, she hit him, she hit him. And again, I refer you all to, you know, I've given you the link to the site I'm using here for this forensic study. It's the French Forensic Independent Team. They're showing that when he fired that first shot, there had been no contact between his body and that car. And I would note that he walked away without even a limp. We've heard nothing about any reports of any injuries to him, so I don't know how we can assume that she hit him with that car under any evidence we've got in front of us. This fella's, I'm sure a lot of people are thinking this. You have so much time to stop the film and analyze. How much time did this guy have to analyze what was going to happen to him in a split second? Well, that's a fair point. I mean, we're able to slow this all down and look at it as milliseconds if he was reacting in the moment. I would say, though, they're trained to be able to make the right decisions quickly. They're not just, or at least we hope they're not just average folks shooting from the hip, so to speak.
Those things happen really quickly, and you got, that officer has to make a decision in the heat of the moment.
But going back to our DOJ policy, you can't just shoot at a moving car because it's moving and you don't want it to move. I mean, that's not the policy on deadly force.
It's also hard to know that I've got students who aren't coming to school because they're afraid of being picked up by ICE. I've had friends of mine, they're saying that they as teachers or parents are being followed by ICE agents. And how does that help our communities stay safe? How does this help any of us do well when we could be using these resources somewhere else that would actually benefit us?
ICE is conducting a reign of terror in American cities that is violence against hardworking immigrants and now just American citizens trying to defend people in their community. It's a reign of terror. It's got to stop.
It could happen anywhere.
That very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody?
I thought at the time when Vance said this, is like, well, if this guy has PTSD from a prior incident, maybe he should be working a desk job.
Or not in ICE at all.
There was one gentleman this morning who estimated that if we were able to wipe out all of the fraud that is being conducted across the country, that the government could send every single citizen over 18 a check for $6,000. It is a problem, but the way they are going about correcting it is not working very well.
So you wanna go to war with me?
What did you come to talk about? Anything in particular?
I came in to see what was going on. Trump saying that we're going to hit Mexico on land.
Oh, is that right? I missed that. Oh,
well, it happened on Thursday.
Okay, so we've knocked out 90% of the drugs coming in by water. We're going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. And he's talking about Mexico? Oh, yeah, he's talking about Mexico.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to go invade Mexico.
If you were caught, you would be hung, drawn, and quartered.
And one thing that made common sense so unique is even the Franklin and Jefferson, they had been careful not to personally attack the king. But Thomas Paine went there.
Right. I think about it was treason to even consider, going against the king or the British at the time. So, the pamphlet was published anonymously, which was a smart thing to do because if you were caught, you would be hung, drawn, and quartered.
Notice anytime anything bad comes out about Trump, there's always something else he does to overdo it. So, like, for instance, like the other day when Jack Smith stuff came out, and when that video came out, then all of a sudden the next day Venezuela is being invaded, and we have.
Well, in his first term, when Trump first took office, there was a famous meeting with all the new White House staff, and he told them then, and this has been his philosophy ever since. He told them this administration is going to be. New York Times reported this. I mean, he said this administration is going to be like a TV show, and every day is a new episode, and that's how he runs his presidency. And sometimes it's intended to distract, but it's always got to be about him, and he's got to be the center of attention, and it's always just a TV show. Apparently, we're watching grandmas fighting ICE agents. Is what it's come to there. Like people just run in all directions. It's just madness. I mean, why is this happening? Why are 2,000 ICE agents even there? Uh-oh, there's the tear gas. Here we go.
I am also a convicted criminal.
Did you see the woman who refused a pardon?
And as a matter of fact, if you want, we can listen to her. I clipped her from yesterday's hearing.
Pam Hemphill. I'm a mother and a grandmother and a cancer survivor and a retired addiction counselor. I am also a convicted criminal for what I did on January the 6th, 2021. I am guilty, and I own that guilt. 5 years ago, I traveled from Idaho to D.C. to see Donald Trump speak. I had fallen for the president's lies, just like many of his supporters. I heard them saying things like, the Democrats are trying to turn this into a communist country, or the radical left wants to do away with our Constitution. The gaslighting caused a lot of fear, and I was scared. With that fear in my heart, I came here on January the 6th. I went from Trump's speech to the Capitol because I thought Mr. Trump would go to the Capitol with us. I had fallen for the president's lies.
We cannot have this without war munitions or war manpower. There's a people we lost the line. We lost the line. All of you need to back. 1033. I think 1033 was from the Capitol. We have been blanked and we've lost the line. These are all free.
It's what January 6th was all about. Trump wanted Pence and these rioters to disrupt the certification of Biden's election and keep him in office.
I hope Mike is going to do the right thing. I hope so. I hope so. Because if Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election. All Vice President Pence has to do is send it back to the states to recertify. And we become president, and you are the happiest people.
You know, this isn't a joke. They were planning to hang him. They got within 40 feet of the vice president until Secret Service got him away.
Fraudulent or inactive ones, which they were asked previously certified. U.S. demands the truth.
There it is, the actual news they put up. Now, why were they going after Pence? For those who need a little refresher, perhaps, is this was the day Congress was to certify the election of Joe Biden in 2020 in December, before the inaugural coming up the next month. I got a problem with fruit flies. Have you all ever had fruit flies?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We've had an attack of fruit flies lately, and I it's weird. I've never experienced fruit flies before. They don't do anything or hurt you, I guess, but they're annoying.
They are annoying.
Around. I've already asked my AI. He told me to get
soap and vinegar.
Vinegar. What kind of vinegar? Apple cider vinegar
and
detergent, and cover it in plastic and poke holes in the plastic.
They'll go in and they can't come out.
If he was talking about restoring democracy in Venezuela and restoring and putting in power the people they elected last year, I think you'd get a lot of support internationally and here at home. But that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about putting the oil companies in charge.
Stuart is, of course, asking the great big question we're all asking: what next?
Yeah,
do we
right.
go after Greenland just because Miller wants him to, or do we go after Cuba, or because Rubio wants him to? Or?
I think so. I think all of the above.
Because this is an administration that clearly thinks it has an absolute right to do whatever it likes in its own backyard. And if I were Xi Jinping or indeed Vladimir Putin, I would start, thinking, maybe I can do what I like too.
Stop calling Trump's foreign policy chaos. It's actually a map. He told Putin do whatever the hell he wants in Europe. He told Taiwan pay up like it's an insurance policy. China gets Asia and the Americas. Well, that becomes Trump's personal fortress. Well, I see the sun came up today, but apparently so did the Delta Force down in Caracas. We woke up to find out our president thinks there's only room for one dictator in the hemisphere. Venezuela's president is in cuffs, flown out like a fugitive, and the only people who seem more surprised than him are the 535 folks sitting in the Capitol building who thought they still had the keys to the war machine. They spent all December arguing about whether they should give permission, and the White House just went ahead and showed them that permission, well, that's something you ask for when you're borrowing the car, not when you're invading a country. Now half of Washington is cheering and the other half is checking the Constitution to see if the papers are all stuck together. It really does make you think about November. I guess now the midterms aren't just about who controls Congress, but whether we have one at all. Grab a booth in our digital diner to talk about it 11 to noon on YouTube.
For a debate about whether or not this is a good idea to take out Maduro, but I want it to happen in Congress, and I want Congress to vote on it, and then I'm for it. I mean, that's the whole point of congressional war power, so that the public can be part of the debate on making a decision like this and ultimately support the decision. And in the long run, that's better for a president who wants to go to war to have gotten the country behind him on the question.
It's got nothing to do with drugs, though. It's got nothing. He has pardoned horrible drug dealers. He has said the U.S. will be strongly involved in the future of Venezuelan oil. It is about resources. That is all it's about. He has said the U.S. will be strongly involved in the future of Venezuelan oil.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on.
Let's have trial by combat.
And I mean, these are people that are breaking windows and beating on the Capitol Police. And somehow this is supposed to be taken as a peaceful protest.
They always say that because one time in this speech, he said peacefully, that they should go peacefully. That's what I hear every time. I already heard it in response to this video I just played. There were comments. He said peaceful to go peacefully. Well, he said it one time, 20 times in that same speech. He used the word fight or fighting in reference to what they needed to do. You tell the jury, okay, we don't have him on tape saying go kill cops on Capitol Hill, but we can show that he was aware that's what they were going to do, and it's what they were doing. I think the period of time for 6 hours or something where it was going on and he knew about it and they were showing him and telling him and he wasn't doing anything about it. That's where he's the most vulnerable.
That's probably what would get him hung. Because it's all of his actions after it started happening. He didn't go, oh shit, we got to stop this, which is what a normal idiot would think.
So did you develop evidence that President Trump was responsible for the violence at the Capitol on January 6th?
So our view of the evidence was that he caused it and that he exploited it and that it was foreseeable to him and was aware in the days leading up to January 6th that his supporters were angry when he invited them. And then he directed them to the Capitol. These crimes were committed for his benefit. The attack that happened at the Capitol does not happen without him.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on.
Let's have trial by combat.
Does not happen without him.
So let's establish you were also married to Cindy Williams. You've had so many lives. It's fascinating.
I was. You know what? When I think back, it's like, oh my God.
Well, they had a big, when they did the True Hollywood Story, what was going on behind the scenes as they were making that show, there was one thing that they said that I just, I wanted to make sure it's true. So there was Cindy Williams, after she started playing Shirley, there was, she expected a certain amount of recognition from the security guard at Paramount where they taped it. And she went up, they said that she drove in one morning and the security guard didn't know who she was. And so she just rammed the gate and drove on through.
I think that's true. She just drove right through, just went through the gate.
I kind of admire that.
Yeah. She's a really good person. She's really a nice person. We were married for 18 years. Was that long? Yeah. We've known each other. We knew each other for 20. And we're still really great friends to this day. And we should have never been married. We both recognize that. We had this really great family. It wasn't a big, our breakup wasn't a big deal. I'm an example of that. When we divorced, we didn't put our kids in the press. Emily and Zachary, no. We get along really well. Our family unit worked great when we were married. It works great to this day. We spent holidays together. We had Easter together, Christmas together, all the kids. It's great. And Bernie actually came up to Portland and stayed at my mom's house for 4 months. We made this little 8mm movie called Road to Gold River. And we were just hanging out. They had already recorded their album. It hadn't come out, and then it just exploded. So we were there from the beginning. And Bernie actually produced 2 albums with us, and we were really close friends.
Well, Bernie's always been like the silent partner there. He just hasn't sought the limelight. I don't know very much about him.
Yeah, he's a real interesting guy. He's really quiet, great lyricist, great poet, and just a real interesting guy because he writes all the time and jots down little words, but then basically right before they're about to do an album, he'll take about 2 weeks, write all the lyrics, give them to Elton. Elton will write all of the music in a week, and then they record it. You want to be with me for a day, for a weekend, for a year, for a month, or forever, I'm here.
Let's be clear. Your children with Goldie are Kate Hudson, who has made several movies, and Oliver Hudson, who's a TV star.
Right.
But you have not had contact with them for how long?
Well, it's been about, it's been, 4 years with Kate and 3 with Oliver.
Yeah, I actually had looked that up, where Kate Hudson said, Bill was meaning you, of course, Bill was sort of in and out of our lives. I don't hate him for it. I guess what I feel is frustration and curiosity. Like, what was it about me he didn't want to know?
Yeah.
The latest thing to upset me is, and I shouldn't be surprised by it, is Trump scolding Ukraine because possibly there was a drone attack on Putin. Putin can bomb the bejesus out of Ukraine, but if Ukraine says boo to Putin, Trump gets all upset.
Was Christmas spending up or down? Dirty money. Dirty money's. If the economy is broken, why is airports and highways full of travelers? Why was Christmas spending up 4.6% from 2024? Maybe people figure they got to buy now because the world's ending. Who knows?
When they broke it down by economic groups as to who's doing the spending, it isn't the middle class. They've cut way back.
Everybody's questioning our middle class spent nothing for Christmas. Middle class.
No, that is not what I said.
And no, you don't have to correct the record because that's not what you said. So there's our answer. High income households, 100K plus, spending was up. Wealthy Americans drove the majority of the season's growth. So the top 20% of earners accounted for half the increased Christmas spending.
Sit still. We have temporarily taken over your motion picture screens to bring you the following message.
You're doomed! Writer and star of cult horror classic Hysterical, Bill Hudson, Kate's father, on 11 to noon today, 11 a.m. to noon. Pete saying, I have many Russian friends. Great people, just victims of propaganda. They are prisoners of a disgusting dictatorship. Don't mix the Russian people with their authoritarian leaders. And you know what, Pete? I say that about us. Don't mix us up with Trump, because there's 70 million of us, at least, that voted against him. And I think there's probably about 90 million now who can't stand him. We finally found an answer to this guy's question. What is this channel about? It's about nachos.
It is.
Now we know.
It has become basically the equivalent of the local diner, where people wander in, drink coffee, and talk about
Cracker Barrels were Cracker Barrels. Concept that we just gather together to chat about stuff that's going on.
That I know, and that seems real hard for people to understand. I don't know why.
In an interview with TVP World, senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, Dan Francis, said the ball is now in Putin's court.
Here's Trump. Here's Zelensky. Mar-a-Lago. I hope Zelensky, I guess he dressed up enough for Trump's satisfaction. He still won't put a tie on, but he's putting on fancier work clothes than usual.
On his way to Florida, Zelensky met with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, who pledged an additional $2.5 billion of economic aid for Ukraine.
We have.
In an interview with TVP World, senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, Dan Francis, said the ball is now in Putin's court, and for the time being, there is little incentive for the Russian leader to pursue peace.
Yeah, I think that's the bottom line. I don't think he's ever going to pursue peace. This might be a clue to how AI plans to take over the world, you know. Then I asked our AI pal to make me a little image for it, and this is what he came up with.
That's an interesting barnyard collection.
Yeah.
One dairy cow, 2 beef cows, 2 jackasses, and a goat.
This might be a clue to how AI plans to take over the world. You know, there might be a hint in here somewhere, because this was all his doing. Well, I did insist on the goat.
You won't believe this, but that little dog sparked a massive mobilization. Everyone was rushing to catch him. And for those moments, everything stopped so that he would not get hurt. Thanks to the teamwork between the Quito subway and the animal welfare unit, the dog was rescued and was immediately taken to the vet. Fortunately, everything went well. He was able to eat, rest, and recover. He also received his deworming and vaccination schedule and will soon be sterilized so that he can be adopted by a responsible family. The best thing about it all is that in the midst of the chaos, no one thought about the delay, the traffic, or the waiting for work. Everyone cared about the dog's life first. That day, the metro became more than just transport. It became proof that every life is valuable, and that when people decide to help, even a small sandwich can stop a city to remind us how human we can be.
Morning.